Welcome to CRE Power Hour, everyone. My name is Lisa Marie Wand, and my outstanding co-host, we're trying out a new word today, is Stephanie Gillison. And Stephanie and I have spent the last 2 decades growing and scaling our businesses. And together, we are bringing you a new space for you to learn alongside the best in the real estate business at CRE Power Hour. So welcome. And today, our guest is Gerard Perillo, Shark Team, business broker badass. We're so excited to have him on the show. And let's get right to it. Hi, Gerard. Welcome. Thanks for being here on the show with us today.
Hi, Lisa Marie. Hi, Stephanie. How are you two doing?
There. Now, Gerard, okay, Lisa Marie introduced you with what you are. You're a business broker badass. But I want you to first list out all of what you are, okay? Because you are an attorney.
Non-practicing. I have a lot of paper on the wall. So
toot your horn, Gerard.
That's what I have, a master's degree in business. I do have a law degree. When I got out of law school, I realized some of my friends in the late 90s were making money in the mortgage business. So me and my father, my family spent 60 grand on me with law school. And then I paid $150 to get my mortgage broker's exam. So because I had a buddy that had a 2-year degree, and he was laughing at me about all the job offers that I was getting for the state attorney and the public defender's office at $32,000 a year, $35,000 a year, and he was making about $150. So, we'd sit, and the more he kept egging me on, eventually I had to go that route. So I first jumped into the mortgage brokerage business back in late 1999 before I got in the real estate stuff. And I made a lot of money. I was down south being taught that business, and then decided I wanted to jump into the real estate side of it. So then I got a real estate license because some of the reasons we did the marketing crash of 2008 is because some of the business training that I got for the mortgages, doing, Stephanie, 125% loan to value.
Oh my gosh.
I was good. I was in a
Who
suit.
couldn't sell that?
125, all the arms, all the balloons. And back then, I was taught, you really need to tell them about the balloon at the closing table when they're already vested. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
When I realized that wasn't the right way, and my wife hates when I bring it up. Now I just put it on video. But
now we have proof.
But now you got proof. But so debt consolidation was my thing. So anyway, getting away from that side of it, that taught me a lot. A lot of real estate people need to understand the finance side of it. That helps the business out. Then I got my real estate license and started working with a pretty big brokerage firm here in Destin. That was a friend of my father's. So I'm like, listen, we can make money doing this too. And the first year, I think I made $900. It was the most pathetic. I'm driving in a brand new Lexus from my mortgage days. I'm living off of that still. I was bad.
This is real, right? This happens.
This is real. This is my first. I sold a $65,000 condo. It was a $900 commission. I had to give him $300. So really, I made $600. And I was working a lot of hours. I was working floor duty and doing all this kind of stuff. Things were just not churning. Or I was with the clients that, they see a sign, they see another advertisement, whatever they're doing, and they call somebody else they didn't know. There was no loyalty back then. Anyway, that was my short stint as a residential real estate agent. And then I saw a little ad in the newspaper. This is back when people, actually I'm old enough that we used to read newspapers still. Little ad that says, hey, look, you want to learn how to sell businesses. And I'm like, learn. And they're doing it in a little hotel room here on one of like a Holiday Inn here. And he's like, all you need is a real estate license. I'm like, what? I mean, I got all this stuff. All you need
You've got so many licenses and papers on the wall, like you said, and now you're going to sit in a little hotel room and learn how to sell businesses.
On how to sell a business. And I thought it was going to be a little trick thing where they ask you for money. I don't know what it was going to be, but went in there. listened to this older gentleman, heard what he had to say. All you got to do is go talk to businesses, go in there, walk in there, got to be very discreet. Now think about it. When I started 18 years ago, there was none of this Facebook ads, Google stuff. There's nothing going on in the internet. They were just starting. Biz Buy Sell hadn't started. There's none of these platforms out there. You literally had to walk into a business, to do direct mail to a business owner, or you walked in to talk to them. Now, how many times do you think you're going to get thrown out when you walk into a business and try to talk about them wanting to sell their business in front of all their employees, their customers, and all that kind of stuff? It was a fun time. But I did list about 20 businesses my first year. So I did get the listings, and they were all local. So listed those, sold a landscape company the first time within 3 months of starting it. It was a $200,000, wasn't a big thing, just an asset purchase. But I made $20,000 on it.
Instead of 600.
Instead of 600. That 20,000 was nice. So what was funny back then is I couldn't, even though I had a master's degree and all this paper on the wall, I could not read a financial to save my life. So the gentleman that actually taught the class, I had his phone number. I started getting all the businesses. I'm like, okay, I got a valuation on what we're going to sell this for. I called him up and I said, hey, Mike, who can help me do these valuations? And he introduced me to this other older gentleman who became my partner for the next 5 years. But he would come in, I'd show him income statements, tax returns, balance sheets. We would use a little piece of paper that we'd sit in a restaurant, coffee shop table, and he would sit there, look at stuff and put it on paper. He goes, okay, we can sell it for this. That's how I started my career. Literally putting numbers on a napkin and taking that napkin and going to the business owner and say, we can sell it for this. We're going to take it to market. And we were very successful. I still can't think back how we did it, but we made a good team. So that was really good.
It's such a business brokering is like a kind of an underground business anyway. And then 18 years ago, I mean, it was really underground, and there was mostly like older gentlemen, right?
It's still there. We're making changes. So there's only less than 13,000 people that actually represent themselves as business brokers. Mm-hmm. Half of them work for a franchise, and then half of them are independents. The typical demographic is a 65-year-old white guy, white old gentleman that's been doing this, and he might still have a fax number on his business card, right? So working from the
kills
house,
me.
It does. People still give out their fax numbers still to this day. So it's like, so that's the way the industry's actually been around since 1935. Think about it, 1935. Wow. That's when the West family actually started it. You know, they just didn't call it business brokering. Then it kind of broke out in the 60s, and then the 70s. And I know the West family, and they put out a lot of information and books and stuff that we use in the industry. But they're like the godfather of the industry and started VR business brokers and stuff. But thinking about it, it's been around decades. There's only 13,000, and half the time you ask a commercial agent, a real estate agent, a CPA, your lawyer, do you know a business broker? And they say no. They don't. They will ask, what does a business broker do? You know, so they've been so confidential when they're marketing to sell a business that they forgot to let people know what the industry actually did, because we sell billions of dollars worth of assets every single year, and we got 3 brokers locally in town. And to this day, I still walk up and meet people that have never heard of what a business broker is. So we're doing a much better job of making sure the world knows what we do and how we can help them take their business to market.
I love that. And you broke it down, you know, how many identify as a business broker, but there's credentials in this industry too. And you hold the highest level of those. Break those down for the audience, Gerard.
Thank you, Stephanie. So there, out of the 13,000, there's less than 450 that are credentialed through the International Business Brokers Association. It's called the Certified Business Intermediary. So in the U.S., there's 450, 460. I am happy to say that we talk about this industry and women getting in this industry. Business brokers typically are male, as I stated earlier. Less than 8% of those credentialed are women that have the CBI. And we just had an IBBA conference a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And my best story I can ever tell about one of my team members, Angel Orth, who back in December won the women's scholarship for the IBBA to become a CBI, going through coursework, taking a test, making she's credentialed through closing a bunch of deals, and then, of course, having to go to a conference. And she won it December 7th. And I was so happy. It was the second time she had applied for it. And the first time she applied for it, I thought the committee had shunned her a little bit because they gave it to somebody that was outside the time period of working as a broker. And I do like saying this. I was so hot. So you're supposed to have less than 3 years of experience. So they want new people. They don't want someone in the business. They want new people coming in, new energy. And I knew as a broker's wife, she had 4.5 years experience on LinkedIn saying all that stuff. I'm like, I called Angel. Am I allowed to like rail on the committee about this? And first thing she's like, aren't you getting recertified this year? Because I had to get I'm like, yes, but I don't care. So I'm like, so like, she goes, can I apply one more time before you decide to go off? So she applied. She won it. So proud of that day. I think I had a closing that day. I don't even remember what the closing was. I remember her telling me that she got that scholarship. And then I told her, of course, did what I do as her leader. I said, the conference is in May. You've got the deals closed. You got that. You need to get the coursework done, which is a lot. And you need to have that, your CBI test exam done. She actually took the exam the Thursday before the Saturday we were leaving to the conference. So she had no wiggle room to fail it. And that day, and I don't know if I had ever told you, Stephanie, but Angel actually started working on a deal for a FedEx route business that's about $700,000. She had to actually tell the buyer and seller, I need to go somewhere. She had to drive 45 minutes to take the test. I need to go somewhere. And so she put a pause on the negotiation. She went to take the test, took it at an hour and a half that normally takes 3 hours, left the test, went back home, finished the deal, executed the contract by 5 p.m. that day. And I'm like, I mean, that's the way you do it. So
that's a powerhouse day. That's a powerhouse day.
And to make it even better, what she didn't know what I was doing, during the IBBA conference, she'd been wanting to get involved with the women's group, and most of them do not have a CBI. And I'm like, you're not getting involved with that women's group. You're going to go in there like a powerhouse. You're going to go in there with your CBI. The Sunday when they're having their big women's group lunch, and it was a big deal. Like, these are people they might not have a CBI, but they're making money. They're all up there, and you got to walk upstairs, and it was outside. It was in the atrium of the resort, and it was they had it all decorated out. I hired a videographer to follow her in as her paparazzi to get all the filming.
That's awesome.
When I'm like, you're gonna meet me at 7:15. Why? She shows up. She's like, what are you doing to me now? I'm like, and she'd been with me 2.5 years now, 3 years. So she loved it. But I wanted to give her all the props, and you guys are going to be seeing a bunch of that stuff that we're going to be putting out. The reels are being created as soon as she gets her plaque. But you can tell I get excited about that. I love the business brokerage arena, but I like training people. Most of my team are women, and I'm trying to they work harder typically than men in the business. So anyway.
I love that.
I'm excited. Gerard, I'm working on my CBI as well. I'm about halfway done. And yes. I went to the conference in Denver last year. Now, I've been a commercial real estate broker for a long time, and I had no idea what to expect when I went to the business broker, the IBBA conference, the annual conference. And I was blown away because there were so many people there that commercial real estate, what? Real estate license, what? It was more like, because Nevada, I'm in Nevada, you have a real estate license and a business broker license to do business in Nevada. There's not a lot of places that require that, but some of these people don't even have real estate licenses. So it was such an array of people. I was fascinated. I did a lot of people watching and a lot of networking, and I was blown away at how this potentially explosive business of brokering the sale and purchase of businesses has stayed under the radar for so long.
You're absolutely correct. And you saw thousands of people, right? there's thousands, and think of the number that are CBIs, and think of the number that don't get a real estate license. The majority of states, I think there's only 13 states. The last time I checked, that you only need a real estate license to actually sell a business. Texas, as big as it is, does not need a real estate license.
No.
Alabama does not.
Isn't that wild?
And to me, that just to me, you take away that the real estate license. Does it really help? But I think them putting them under the ethical, putting them under some licensing authority, like Nevada having the business broker license, and they're the only ones that do those kind of things. The more, little bit, not a lot of regulation, but to make sure that people are not, the clients are being well taken care of, because ultimately it's about looking at the business, valuing that business, and we'll get on that topic in a second, and then be able to take that business to market for the highest price for that business owner at the right time. So at the right time, and what does the right time mean? I give this example where I did a valuation on a software company at $3.5 million in January, $3.5 million. And he 7 years, he's in his mid 40s. He's like, let's sell it. And I'm like, no, John, we're not selling your business yet. And I always start off telling clients that because we're talking does not mean I'm committing to listing your business. We have to do the valuation, pull some comps. We'll come up with what the market price is, and then we'll talk about listing the thing. So he remembered that conversation. He goes, you don't want to sell my business? And I said, no, John, I'm going to sell you.
Takeaway.
I am going to sell your business, but it's going to be the end of 2024, because barring any mishaps, any other pandemics or any stuff like that, you're on pace. You're probably going to be at 5 million. So think about, we charge anything under 5 million. I will always charge 10%. I'm a non-negotiable broker. If they want to work with me and my team, it's 10%. So it's like 10%. So 3.5 million, that's $350,000 that most brokers and everyone, that's a good number for most 99% of the people. And that's our job. Our job's not to make commission. It's to sell that business at the right time, at the right value for that business owner. And I probably got like 10 businesses that are clients that are sitting off. And the more I do that, and those referrals come from attorneys and accountants, the more they go back and say, he's told me to hold off so we can make more money. It just builds a credibility in our industry. Mm-hmm. That's how I want everyone to work.
Absolutely. No, and I love that. And that's what I respect about you, Gerard, because I mean, we're all taught, get the listing, because obviously, but you do have to look out. And that's why you've been, extremely successful, and you've got the reputation you do. And I want to talk about valuation, because that's another expertise of yours. You hold more paper on the wall for this, because very few of those 13,000 that identify as business brokers, like you said, 460 are CBIs, but even less are certified in valuation. So talk about that.
I would say out of the 450 CBIs, it's going to be under 2 or 3%. So because most of them will put down a valuation. They got to do that to take it to market. But they'll go back and do the napkin thing that I was discussing, the old school way, because it's all based off of cash flow, and they have marketing multiples and stuff. So I do hold a business certified appraisal credential through the ISBA. It's one of 5 credentials that the SBA sees as a qualified appraiser for business appraisals. So a lender can actually use my credential and use me to produce a report. So if anyone's actually going out to purchase a business under $5 million, they would actually need an appraisal done by business appraisal. Typically, they're going to, you got a CPA firm that has ASA that have their own credentials. Those are typically what banks are used to seeing. But the BCA, that's outside that CPA industry. And there's less than 100 of us in the nation that have it. But it does qualify, give us a unique qualification. So when I put the BCA together with the CBI, I like saying there's no way we're going to overinflate or underinflate. Two key things. If you overvalue a property, a business, and you take it to market, it's never going to sell. That's why The close rate, the success rate to sell a business is 20 to 30%, right? Our success rate's 96%. Angel has 100%. She has 100%. That bulldog, she don't stop till she gets a deal closed. And so, typically, so it's like you do that valuation, but you don't overinflate. But more importantly, to the seller, to the business owner, you don't underinflate. It'd be easy if we undervalue the business, right? And then we can sell it all day long. And I make sure the clients understand when I say we have a success rate, it's we've taken that business to market at the right time for the highest price out of the marketplace. And we always pull comparables just like you would do in residential and commercial to show them, hey, this is where we're taking it to market. And that's what I do with evaluation too. And sometimes it stings. We did 271 valuations last year. So it's always do the valuation first. Then we'll decide if we want to take it to market based on the conversation with the business owner. Out of those 271 valuations, 16, 17% went to market. Some of the stuff we just do so people get to know what their value is. And I'm a stats guy. I'll spit out stats all day long. So you got 33 million small businesses that run this country. That's people call them mom and pop. They're Main Street. They're not M&A. They run this country. This is what makes this country operate. This is what we get up. We drive in our cars. We have our food. We take care of our families. It's those mom and pops. It's the IBBA defines it as under 5 million gross, those 33 million, and under 500 employees typically, right? Depending on the industry. The 92% of those 33 million, 92% gross under $1 million. Think about that number. 92% gross under $1 million. So that's what the typical business sell. And Stephanie, you might not know this number because I'm in this all the time. It's only 555,000.
Yeah.
Now my average is way up there because we have a lot of big stuff coming in. We have M&A stuff coming in, but the typical is 555,000. And there's going to be 12 million of those businesses selling in the next 3 to 5 years because baby boomers retiring.
Yeah, boomers retiring. Well, and that's why we wanted to have you on the show, Gerard, because I think, Lisa Marie and I being in commercial real estate, obviously we've had time to get to know you and do business with you over the course of the last couple of years. But a lot of people in our industry don't know about this. I mean, they're representing businesses all day long on the real estate side of things, which we're not saying for them to, hey, go out and start selling businesses, because you got a whole lot to learn and you got a whole lot of paper to get on that wall like Gerard has before you have that expertise. But we want them to know who you are because you love, and you invented this, and we do it at our brokerage at EXP, Agent Payday. You love
payday,
Agent Payday because, and I love this too, because we're not saying everybody become a business broker expert, because that's impossible to do. That's 20 years in the making, a lot of paper on the wall, like I said. But talk about Agent Payday, because you have built your business on networking with brokers and agents doing real estate. So talk about that.
So for years, and business brokers typically do not like working with real estate agents. But the only way you can pay a referral fee, Agent Payday, which we'll get into, is having an active real estate license. And this is what I love about our culture within EXP. So Agent Payday is all about actively telling our partners in both realty and the commercial brokers that stick to their lane, how they can refer businesses over to us and allow us to sell that, take care of their clients, sell that business. And we stopped, we nixed it. In fact, we were talking about referral fees because one of them was $43,000, $43,560. One of them was $19,000. I'm about to pay out $11,000 on a weight loss center. We have one coming up, and we've talked this a couple of times, and we're getting close with the attorneys. There's complications. An LOI for $146,000. That's not a referral fee. For some people, that's doubling their yearly income or tripling what they would ever make.
Well, and for that agent, his average price of a home sale is $73,000 per house. So making $146,000 referring that business to you is a life-changing event.
And it was all about just getting out and teaching the agents. They already know somebody that want to sell their business. When I do talks and workshops and on stage or wherever we are, I always ask the agent, do you know anyone's bought or sold? Do you know anyone that's a business owner? And they all raise their hand. Do you know anyone that has bought or sold a business in the last few years? 90% to 100% always say yes. Did you get paid?
0.
And only one of my good friends in my workshop, and I said, you're never allowed to come here again. Raise your hand, because she got a brother that's an attorney. Outside of that, I've never had anyone raise their hand. They didn't know they could get paid, or they fell into it. I met someone that says, I've sold a business before. And I'm like, okay. And then when I dug into it, they got screwed on the commission at the back end because of and I'm sorry for using that, but they got messed up on the commission because they didn't have the appropriate documentation. And it's all about, just because you can market something doesn't mean you can sell it. So some of the agent payday, some of these referrals, just talk about where we can sell a business. We can sell a business in all 50 states, right? We do not need to be local to sell a business. It's all about financials. So let me just run through. HVAC company in California, wedding venue, Georgia, landscape company in Florida and Louisiana, pool company, Tennessee, welding distribution in Ohio, FedEx route in Florida, auto repair, Florida, Pennsylvania. We're working on, what was this other thing? Another thing in New York, which another deal we're working on right now.
Childcare in the eastern side of the U.S., all over.
All over the place.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. So the industry's like, what do you sell? And what we do with Agent Payday is we sell anything that cash flows. Anything that cash flows. I don't care what the business is. Between our teams, and we got some great teams. I work with Stephanie's team. I work with Sam Griffin. Amazing. Him and Matt, they're getting their CBIs. So we're going to have the team that has 4 CBIs on it. I don't know a brokerage team that has 4 CBIs that can work all the deals. And we all have experience in everything. I don't think there's something that someone can send us that one of us hasn't touched or done something in our careers. And between the two teams, we've closed well close to $1 billion in business sales between the careers of all the people on the team. That's a lot of business sales, right? So we want to make sure that we go out, and it's about the agents just being a little bit active, maybe in their social media. Hey, we've partnered with Agent Payday, who've sold these many transactions. If you thought about selling, connect with us. It's that simple. Or going to the agentpayday.com website, and actually we give you information that you can put out on your social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or whatnot. Very simple stuff. You don't have to know anything about business brokering. You have to know this. We assist people, and we assist buyers and sellers in the transaction of a business. That's all you need to know. We sell businesses. And unlike a lot of teams, my team, they're not allowed to sell residential or commercial. They're not allowed to. They're only allowed to sell business if they want to.
Staying in your lane, right? Staying in your lane.
Sometimes we're going to be good at what we do, and we're not going to be, experts at everything. We're really good at what we do because there's so many landmines, and we learn every business. There's no due diligence checklist. That I got one over here. Due diligence checklists are different on every single transaction. Sometimes it's nothing. I have a referral that was a weight loss clinic in Florida. It's from an EXP realty agent that sent me. So this was, and I actually took it on myself, and typically I give this out to my team, and I took it on, truly marketed it for like less than 45 days. We got the right price, real properties involved. It's 1.7 million. And I knew right now in Florida that weight loss industry is hot right now. It's a hot industry right now. They got a lot of stuff coming out like semaglutide and stuff like that that's being pushed out by all these facilities. So it took me less than a few weeks of really marketing. And then I have a doctor's group that seriously came in. And I never do site visit. They did want to see it because the real estate was a little high. They saw the site visit. We worked a deal. They're bringing a team in on Monday, and they're like cash close. We want the business right now. So it's like these deals can happen really quick. And that real estate agent who I just communicated. Oh, by the way, we just went under LOI. Contracts being reviewed by an attorney, but it's done. And we're going to close in a week, and I'll be sending you a $12,000 check. You'll be getting that at closing. I mean, did nothing. Sent me.
And that's great because that agent can stay in their lane and run their business and then just have this additional flow of income that may supersede what they make in their business right now. And then you get to stay in your lane and be great at what you do and share these successes and these agent paydays. I mean, it's a great business model.
It is.
It is. And I get excited about it. And that's why I get excited about the culture within EXP. It's all about the relationships and just having confidence that when someone hands over, it's not even their clients. It's like they might just be sitting the daycare that we discussed. He happened to be at lunch with his grandfather and his grandfather's friend, and happened to hear the guy talk about business when he needed to sell his business, and to say, "Well, do you know anybody?" And he happened just to remember the Shark team. So it's like everyone around you. Look around your table, look around lunch, look around at conferences, look around Chamber of Commerce, wherever you are. There's a group of people that are looking to sell their business. And it's just letting them know.
And there's a whole group of people looking to be entrepreneurs and looking to buy those businesses. I mean,
Yes.
That's what I find fascinating is we'll, bring a group to market or whatever. And the what we're getting as far as, attention rate and people interested. There's so many people that have decided that, look, they don't want to be in corporate America. They want to be determining what their destiny is. And so they're looking to buy these businesses. So there's definitely a market for it. And what is the statistic? I always either get this screwed. I always get the year or a dollar amount. $3 trillion worth of businesses are going to be bought and sold over the next 5 years.
Yes, yes.
$3 trillion.
That's a big number.
It's a huge number.
It's a huge number. And the majority of that is Main Street. So I talk to business coaches all the time. I always ask them, you're helping a company, you're helping a company increase their gross revenue, increase their bottom line, cut their expenses, make their systems and processes faster and more efficient, and technology and AI. What's the value of their business? They have no idea, and these baby boomers, they're struggling with the idea of retirement. There's 80% of them have no exit plan. Their biggest asset are their business. They don't have most of them do not have a financial advisor in place because they're working. That's their asset. They don't have a whole lot of extra cash, millions of dollars floating. So they don't know where that exit is. And the reason they don't know when to exit is because they don't know the value, and we haven't put that value on. 60% of our listings last year came from those valuations when we actually said what the number was. And they were pleasantly excited saying, you can sell my business like for this. Like I talk about this plumbing company that was from his house, 25 years, 3,000 contacts. I did a appraisal for his wife. She was a VP of a company. And she said, can you look at my husband's stuff? He's about to just shut the doors. He had like one assistant. Think about that business. Is that sellable? Yeah, it was valued at $446 and we sold it for $375. He had the best reputation for a plumber I'd ever seen. His reviews were perfect. His on time was perfect. He did one right thing. He kept his one phone for the business and he had a personal phone. The funniest thing when I told him we got your name for a year. We'll keep your name for a year, so your name's still going to be out there because that was part of the goodwill portion of it. But he was happy with that check, and she was happy he didn't just stop working. So those people a lot of people don't know HVAC, home services, any of those industries. Pool. We got 2 pool cleaning businesses. We're selling landscape business. Everyone knows somebody in that space.
And Gerard, how many business owners out there just close their doors? They don't even know that selling their business is an option.
Hundreds of thousands a month.
They wait too long. They get sick. They get tired. They have their life circumstances change. And I know that you hear about these all the time because I do, where people just close their doors and they don't even think about, oh my gosh, I have the option to sell my business, to sell my goodwill, to sell my name. And we're the people that can be there to help rescue them and change their life because they have their head down, right? All these years they're just working. And like you said, they don't have any kind of succession strategy or exit strategy. And you know, we can be the answer to that big problem, which is, what do we do now?
You just nailed it. And, you know, they deserve it. They deserve time. They deserve peace. They deserve retirement where they can do it without fretting about if they're going to be able to survive with their family, with their financials, you know. So another good example I use is an HVAC company that had 5 crews running, and he was going to shut it down because his kids didn't want it.
Yeah.
And by the way, success rate of children taking over business, 3%. I'm a stat guy because they don't work as hard as the parents, right? So,
or they saw what their parents went through and they're like, hell no, we don't want to do that.
Exactly.
They don't want to work that hard.
Hell
no. We end up selling that HVAC. I said, listen, I'm going to do a free valuation for you. And I not typically charge. I said, I'm going to do it for free. Let me just take a look. We ended up selling that a few years back for $1.2 million, his business. And then he owned the property. Then he became a landlord, and we did a lease agreement. So now he just gets a check every month.
Yeah.
You know,
Gerard,
that guy can call anytime and get my HVAC work on anything I want.
You bring up a really good point. Since I'm in the business broker business as well, I had a client recently that called our office that wanted to sell her business and her real estate. And someone had reached out to her and offered to value her business for $12,000. And I'm of the school of thought, because I know when I went to the IBBA conference last year, there's a lot of training, a lot of breakout sessions. And I listened to someone that said, take the listing first and then value the business. And I don't agree with that. I want to know if it's a sellable business before I spend my time, my money, and my energy, right? So this lady came to me and said, yeah, they wanted to charge me $12,000 off the top just to value my business. So what do you think about that?
Let me in that room with that broker talking about that. So a couple things. So we do, well, like I said, we do the valuations, and how we separate from taking it to market. I tell them, we charge you a fee. There's 2 separate hats here. We're going to do the valuation. We pull your comps for your industry. And typically, if I can't find a comp like this welding products company, which is introduced with AI, I'll have a commercial, some of my SBA lenders look at it and see where they would be at it. So I've got people in place that can go behind me if I can't pull comps. Then we look at that number. Any broker that takes a listing before doing a valuation is incompetent.
Yes.
So I will say that right now, because they're not doing their client any justice by making them feel good. The second they sign a listing, they think they're selling their business. We all know that. They think it's sold. And some of our businesses take over a year to sell, typically 4 to 6 months. If you do the listing right, you pre-approve it. You could cut that in 2 or 3 months, but the time frame could extend over a 12-month period. We got a lot of stuff that's going to close. That we closed out a lot of stuff this year that was from 2 years ago. So it's just about the time frame and moving forward, because you got different whatever the issue is, right? But any broker that ever says that, and what we charge, we have 2 things. I'll typically charge $2,500 for an appraisal. I'll say it's like an SBA type of appraisal. If it's a real estate agent referring, I'd reduce that to $1,900. And then we also have our software that I'll say real quick. I developed a software in 2020 that, as of June 3rd, 2023, it's the only business valuation software in Intuit QuickBooks. Very proud of that. So if you go to the Intuit QuickBooks App Store, type in business valuation, you'll see today's Val, which Stephanie really remembers. So we'll say that's my claim to fame there. But if you don't do that valuation and tell that client, I just told a client the other day, and I knew where they're going to be. They've been around 2006, MEP company, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. You know, the value of the company is they ran a tight ship and they weren't paying out. They ran a good business, but they were paying, their cost of goods sold was high. And I told them, your business is worth 1.25, 1.3. You know, we get through 2023, we might be able to get to 1.5. And they wanted to be $2.5 million. Now think about the broker that would have let them, they would have only listed at 2.5, signed a $2.5 million listing, and they're thinking, I'm going to retire. One was 69, he's ready to retire.
Yeah.
I just told them there's things we can do with the cost of goods. There's things you can do to get you closer to 2 million, but it's going to take some time. It's incompetence, and it's a lack of integrity too. I go off on brokers when we're at the conferences.
Open up a can of whoop ass.
I tend to do that. So I tend to do that because they need to follow the right thing. It's all about the client. It's not about us. So
That's right.
if you do it for the client, then it all works out, because the commissions come, believe it or not.
Do the right thing and the money just flows, right? It just,
money flows.
You're out there doing the right thing and helping people. We're all on the same page with that. So
awesome. Well, Gerard, I appreciate you, and Lisa Marie too, for coming here today. I think it's been interesting. I always love talking with you, and I always like that, we give people fresh ideas in this industry, that there's more to it than just real estate. And here's an opportunity to earn additional income with people you already know, or people that you might have conversations with at the bar. I mean, for goodness sakes, if you're going to order a beer, order up a Agent Payday too, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So everyone here needs to go to agentpayday.com. Look to see what we do. There's a way you can put in your referral form. If you got a client, go look at the social media, some marketing tips that we have for there. All you got to do is just see what happens. Just try it, right? Just try it once.
Try to emphasize, have those conversations that you're not having. Like, put yourself out there a little bit, and just have a conversation with someone. And that's how things happen in our business, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Great to see you again, Gerard. Thanks for being here. And Stephanie, you're outstanding today.
Thank you both. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Lisa Marie, you're awesome. We'll
Bye,
see you
all.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.